These are roles with significance asking for all this education, offering the bare minimum. You tell me right now, what adult out here, I don't care if you live in Wyoming, what adult out here can live off of $16 an hour? If you ask me, there's too much trickery going on, from price gouging with the rent to this unemployment stuff. It's like, what does one have to do in these times? Let's talk about this disgusting job market. I thought in 2025 we were going to see some type of change, and I haven't seen much, to be honest with you. Here we are in September, and to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but the job market looks as bleak as it did last year this time. Maybe even a few years before that. So I've done a little experiment this year. I've applied to hundreds of jobs just to see who would bite, because I'm trying to really understand this whole AI thing and keywords on the resume and just little trickery that they're using in modern times. And also keep this in mind, most of the jobs I applied to, although I may not have 100% of the experience they're looking for or the requirements, I'm close to it. And most of my background is relative to the job that I've applied to. So if it's let's just say a customer service job, I may have only done customer service for 2 years, but a lot of my background connects to that said position. So yeah, I may not have the experience as a customer service person, but I have everything else. So if you're an employer, you've got to pick your poison. Do you want somebody with 20 years experience all across the board with just a high school diploma? Do you want somebody with multiple degrees with only a couple years? What do you want as an employer? And I got to be honest with you, out of the, let's say, hundreds of applications, I've been granted maybe 3 interviews. I could be, at least a handful. That percentage, that ratio is insanity. So if you're an employer and you're using certain tools that are scanning keywords, or if you're using this AI stuff, what is it? Because there are too many people discouraged. Is it me? What am I doing wrong? Do I need to relocate? Do I need to get more certifications? Do I need to go back to school after being out of school for 25 years and get another degree? What do I need to do as the unemployed employee? They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And now, if you're lucky, you may get an employer who sends back a personable email where they address you by name. They tell you the infamous words, although your resume was quite impressive, we've decided to go with other candidates who better fit us at this time. What does that even mean? Also, I'm sure many of you have seen this, when you go on the job boards, you may see the same job posted and reposted and reposted. You may see a job 1 month, it disappears, and then a few months later, here it goes again. Either they can't keep the employee, or there's something going on. If you ask me, there's too much trickery going on, from price gouging with the rent to this unemployment stuff. There's too much going on being left unsaid. I just don't think enough dialogue is being had. We're kind of like expected to just go along with it. And as you go along with it, time is only progressing. Frustration's only building. Bills are only piling. Savings accounts are only depleting. It's like, what does one have to do in these times? I'm blown away by the rejections that I've seen. I'm blown away by some of the videos I've seen of jobs asking for master's degrees and offering $16 an hour. Not enough is being spoken about this. These are roles with significance asking for all this education, offering the bare minimum in today's time. You tell me right now, what adult out here, I don't care if you live in Wyoming, what adult out here can live off of $16 an hour? If you have a vehicle, if you're paying rent, if you're paying alimony, if you're paying child support, if you're buying groceries, who's going to survive off that? If you're telling me somebody that's fresh out of high school or fresh out of college who's still living at home, fine. What full adult is going to survive off that and be good? where after each check, they have several $100s, where they can set aside in a savings account. It's unheard of. Not enough dialogue. Instead, we're worrying about all these other things under the sun and not what's keeping people in a constant struggle. And this is not meant to be a doom and gloom video. It's just speaking reality. Not enough dialogue is being had on the mainstream platforms regarding these situations. You only find them on social media. You only find it when people are crashing out, on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. You don't see news coverage about this. And if you do, you might get 90 seconds. We're having constant protests about things that really don't matter in the bigger picture. They just don't. We're worried about how this country's going to look in 100 years. None of us are going to be here in 100 years. What about now? How does one survive today? How does one survive in 2025 and beyond? We're worrying about the bruises on President Trump's hand. We're worried about whether he's alive. We're worried about Epstein lists. We're worried about, is the earth flat? We're worried about UFOs. We're worried about so many other distractions aside from what's keeping people afloat today. This can't continue. You can't keep getting scam artists texting your phone about fake jobs or applying to jobs on LinkedIn or Indeed, and these jobs are as phony as a $2 bill. It increases frustration. It increases stress. Is this a part of the plan to just get everybody just fed up? Again, so when you're doing experiments with employment, because say maybe you want out of that job, what about those who aren't working, who haven't worked for 2, 3, 4 years? Again, we're worried about the wrong things, but it's just speaking facts. How does one survive today with price gouging? How does somebody young who wants their own place figure this out? Where a $50,000 to $60,000 salary might not be enough for a $2,000 one-bedroom apartment. When does it ever go back to 20, 25 years ago when these types of conversations weren't had as regularly as they are now? Is the idea to keep everybody in this rut, in this state of confusion, just not knowing what to do next. What is the plan? What is the objective here? Something needs to be done.